it's pretty smart, and obviously Lance first pick. So as you said, there's a lot of Lance emphasis, and I'd like to see Finn here because he's really good against Lance. Because his CC just doesn't really matter for you. Whereas they're going to go for the Lyra, they're going to be boring and meta. So it's likely that there's no need to ban Catherine actually. Glaive or an Idris might be banned away if depending on what Nabulae want to pick. And Petal, well, there is a reason for Petal ban because Petal there has been a slight bug when you cannot attack Petal if her money is standing on top of her. It doesn't really matter in team fights, but sometimes it's really annoying, and so they're going to ban it away. And the smart ban, obviously, from J3X is to ban Cruel because Petal is the best Cruel counter, and obviously that leaves it just open for Nabulae to pick.
Yep, and I agree with Dai if he's playing in this current matchup is Cruel main and plays very good Cruel. So I understand the ban coming out from the side of J3X Inferno, but if you think about it, Lance can kind of stop Cruel's advancement. So although the Petal is being banned out, highly likely that the Cruel will be being picked up by the side of Nabulae. But all in all, I don't think that it is quite a valuable ban. In this current patch, at least there is a Glaive to worry about, in which Iron Gyudai have shown spectacular plays on it as well. And in this current patch, with the introduction of Spell Sword, Glaive just does so very well in that of lane as one of the carries.
Yeah, and Vox picked up for J3X Inferno. He's a pretty flex hero, can play many different team comps, and Koshka's very, very different. I was not expecting a Koshka this early on. They're going to go for it. The J3X wants to game a and it does pretty much stop Idris Taka from being able to be brought out, because if Koshka goes up against Taka, it's going to be really easy early game aggression. Taka's just going to be unable to farm. I think Samuel could work out quite well for a Nabulae here. Reasonably good early game. Or actually, I'd love to see an Ozo, even though up against Lance, it'd be really fun against Koshka. And he could try and go aggressive, but they're not going to pick that because people are too scared to play Ozo against Lance. But what do you think they might go? Black Feather's still available for Nabulae.
Yep, I personally think that there are a couple of very good pickups at this point in time. That would be Batiste. Batiste would do quite well against Koshka, maybe not in the early game. Ozo would be a very, very good pickup as well going into the team comp of J3X Inferno. However, the side of Nabulae will just settle for the very comfortable pickup of Rhyme. So, what do you think of the team comps coming out for both teams at this point in time?
I think I'm going to go for Nabulae, possibly double CP, although it's really odd that we saw Impunity play a weapon power Idris, given that weapon Idris has been really out of the meta. It's just been CP, CP, CP for every Idris game, at least that I've seen in Europe and a couple in Southeast Asia. But maybe they're going to go for weapon Idris. It's not as good against Vox as CP is, because you have the same range as Vox on your CP Idris. And then you can you also have a Chakram for poke. Yeah. I think it will work either way. I prefer CP, but then the Rhyme against Koshka is really good, because as soon as first of all, early game, Koshka's going to have a really tough time of being able to poke out Iron Gyudai and kill him. Whereas in the late game as well, Rhyme is quite good, and Rhyme actually has quite high ratios on his abilities. So once he gets some crystal power, it'll be really interesting to see how well Nabulae can not get snowballed and just let themselves get to late game, where I think Rhyme will really excel over Koshka.
Oh yeah, definitely. Anyways, I am on board with you as well. I think Nabulae's comp is just so much better as compared to that side of J3X Inferno. But enough about my thoughts. Let's just pull in I Request Duo and see what he has to say about this game.
Hello, and thank you for that, Luxura. And what I have to say about this game between J3X Inferno and Nabulae, well, I see your guys' point in saying that you like the Nabulae team comp coming out here, but I think you can also really look towards maybe a possible early game if Inferno are able to really start rolling that into the mid game and shut it out early. They have the potential there with the kit that they've got working for them. They obviously, once Koshka gets that level 6 with the Catnip Frenzy, going to be a good lockdown on the side of Kahlua playing on that Lance, as long as they're able to land the Impales. And then meanwhile, Baby should be on the back line, hopefully being able to dance around and get some damage in. But here we see Nabulae going in with an aggressive start, actually invading the enemy jungle a bit, and I believe they picked up the mid camp there to start with.
Yeah, they did, and actually it looks like Baby's going to be possibly caught up by Truffy's, but no, he's just going to try and stop Truffy securing a CS. Not going to happen. Truffy does manage to pick that up. Minion Candy was used by Truffy to try and help her stop this wave push on the target, and Koshka's going in aggressive in the jungle. Is he going to be able to get a kill? Everyone's level 1. Who's going to be the first to hit level 2?
There's Kahlua going in with the Impale, and they managed to steal away the farm, I believe, on her. That's going to land onto Angry Udai, who's going to be going in fairly tanky as well, being able to use those Winter Spires to keep him alive, and actually going to use the speed boost from Trophies, but it's not enough to catch up with this Koshka, who's currently going to be able to escape alongside Kahlua. So I'm not sure how worth that invade was, because right now they're going to head up to lane instead, and Nabulae continuing to steal farm, but there's going to be the Impale and it lands just on the end of it. However, they're not able to secure the kill onto Trophies, but they are able to force the first recall of the game.
Yeah, that's going to be Trophies going back to base, and Kahlua was actually spotted. He misses the Impaler. Angry Guy knows, and I think Bim could be in a bit of trouble here, I request a duel. He does manage to get the minion.
Yeah, but they are staying to fight. You could see was able to get the speed boost to get away there. And they're just going to back behind the Crystal Sentry camp there and manage to make it back to base, both of them. However, we have seen some farm already going over to the side of Nabulae, as they're being able to take a lot of advantages to go into the enemy jungle and try to steal out. But right now we see Baby trying to contest for this mid cap. They might get with a resonance, but oh, it looks like Baby actually going to get that one. I thought Iron Die would be able to secure that, but
no, you would have thought Angry I'd be able to get it. Yeah, because he was too low on energy. He needed the Elder Trait to pick up energy to get his rotation. Without that, with Vox being able to secure it, Angry forced to back to the base, and he's waiting for his jungle. It also respawns soon. There it is. Nabim has been reasonably good with this early game aggression. Already almost a 1k gold lead for J3X. This was also in lane because Truffy's only on 16 CS to Baby's 32. He's going to get 5 more CS up to 21 now with this wave, but that's still a really big advantage for J3X.
Yeah, I did notice that. As you can see, Baby managing to keep up in perfect farm, but right now it's going to be Inferno possibly looking for, it could be the gank instead. They're going to ignore the team fight. I'm not sure if they'll be able to get him. Baby just going to go get the CS as usual. Kahlua trying to go in there and actually having to use the Githia more to push off the enemy as they get trapped down. They get ruined by Angry Die, and they're trying to find a kill. So much damage being traded over by each team in this early game situation. No first blood has actually been handed over just yet. With the amount of aggression we've been seeing, however, and you see that the Imperial Sigil going to be able to heal Trophies up in lane there. Meanwhile, likewise, Kahlua on the enemy team trying to keep Baby alive, putting down quite the aggression with those Impales, but needs to be careful himself. We almost saw them getting caught out earlier as Angry Die rotated up on that Rhyme.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was a really good rotation, stopping Kahlua from being too aggressive. He still hasn't got a fountain, and Trophies can almost pick his up. This might be a good time for Nebula, actually. Trophy's still another 90 gold needed. Kahlua could be caught out.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like they're able to find the chill wins, not able to get the root down. And this is the thing when I talked about in the, well, I guess intro into this game, after you and Luxura pointed out that you liked the team comp coming out by Nabulae, but we'll hold that for just a second, as it looks like Truffy is going to go low. So is Kahlua, forced to use the Fountain of Renewal. Angry Die actually going to be the next target, as Koshka going in deep. Meanwhile, Baby just being ignored at this point, and there's going to be the Impale, the first blood, but Baby stuck under the turret. It's going to get traded down, and Truffy is actually managing to pick up one of those kills. Angry Die as well picked one of them up before falling, so not always lost for Nabulae, and Kahlua needs to be careful here. There's a fair bit of damage coming out by Trophies at the moment, and if they get locked down with that Bright Bulwark, they're not really going to be able to use an Impale to get away from a situation like that. However, Trophies not yet with the Blink ability on that Shimmer Strike. Not Shimmer Strike.
Shimmer Strike. Yeah, Shimmer Strike's the ultimate Shroud Step. Yep. And Trophies could be caught out, but no, he's going to be able to get away. Has got his Shimmer Strike if he needed to use it on Angry Die. And now Truffy's can get his Sword Blade, get that diversion paths unlocked. Really important going up against someone like a Koshka. Because if he can just blink away when she tries to engage, that really is annoying for a Koshka. And even against Vox, if he can jump on top of Vox much easier. Angry Die was kind of useless in that last team fight. He didn't land that many Winter Spires. Vox could just Sonic Zoom out of them, and Koshka could just run around with them with a bit of Happy Feet. So I think it's Angry Die really needs to be just throwing Winter Spires on top of himself whenever Koshka tries to jump in. And if he lands a single route, that could pretty much turn the team fight.
Yeah, well, that goes back to what I was saying about Nabulae. They have that engagement that they have to rely on I Angry You Die landing the chill wins while getting the Frost off first and then landing the root. Otherwise, it's down to Truffy's maybe once they get that Arcane Passage to go into a fight. And we see that there's going to be Valkyrie used, and it's going to be turned around instantly as Koshka jumping in under turret, but Truffy is not going to take any of that jumping right in retaliation. However, is now getting chased down, does get Giphian walled into the wall, gets stunned up, is going to die to the Scout Trap. And that's going to be a kill over to the side of Inferno right now. Both teams 3 kills to 3, however, slight gold lead in favor of Pyro here at 14.5k over to the 13.7. I think if anything that might be a bit more related to first blood kill and just the farming if we continue to look at Baby's farm sitting at 77. Truffy's a bit behind there at 61.
Yeah, definitely. I think Truffy's is struggling farm, not because he's missing them, but because he's being forced out in the lane. And in that team fight, it was interesting that Angry Die, no reflex block for the Yummy Frenzy, and his Winter Spire wasn't actually thrown under himself, it was thrown away. So that means he didn't get maximum damage. Because one thing, if you don't have a block for Yummy Frenzy, is you can use that ability to know exactly where Koshka's going to be for the next 2 seconds. He's going to be standing on top of you. So if Ryan had just thrown a Winter Spire down directly on top of himself, he would have got loads of damage onto Koshka, even though he was being stunned. Truffy's, I thought he'd be able to make the plays to kill Baby, but only able to pick up Nabim Bim. And now J3X want to seize this turret.
Going in by Kahlua, they use the wait for as well, but they need to be careful. They're firing under the enemy turret, and there's going to be Valkyrie dropping down. They managed to get the real into Kahlua, but Nabim Bim's still alive. Good block coming out from Yudai to stop the Catnip Frenzy, and now we see them going in deeper onto Truffy's, but he manages to back out. He's actually going to go for the 1v1 against Nabim Bim, but Kahlua going to jump into there. There's going to be the, wow, Koshka jumping over the wall, managed to secure the kill, however, going to get shut down by Truffless. And that's going to be a trade out once again. Both these teams going fairly even right now. And we can see that it's even in the gold. It's not so separate. And when we look at objectives, you can see kind of in the lane, Inferno want to be the aggressors and they continue to push against this turret. But I would almost suggest for them to try find a different situation. Either let Nebula push a bit more and try gank onto that, or try find a fight into the jungle, because right now they continue to push against this turret, but why put yourself at a disadvantage in a fight by having to fight under the enemy turret? Yeah,
certainly. It's even in kills. That was another even team, and minus CS, the gold is identical. And Liverim's going to go in. They want to go under towards the turret. Angry Die is going to almost
goes very low. It looks like Imperial Sigil not going to save him as Koshka able to just jump under that turret, picking up the kill. And this might be the chance that Inferno were looking for. They finally have the man advantage. They have the minions. They're going to jump in. There's the Giphian wall into the turret to get the stun. It's going to be Truffy's to try dive out there and trade a kill, but not quite as Nibim. Still going to be alive on this Koshka. Great play by Kahlua as well on this Lance, who is able to get the stun into the Impale and set up that whole team fight. We now see Angry You Die just getting shut down instantly as he tries to walk into the fight. And Inferno might even be looking for a second turret out of that single push.
Yeah, definitely. It was a really successful push from Inferno, but turret aggro is much harsher now too. It will focus on heroes an awful lot more, as I'm sure a lot of teams have found out. So they were unable to trick the turret into focusing minions and take it down. But I think that was really interesting from Angry You Die. He seemed to just walk in and die straight away without any real plan as to what to do. There was a really nice dodge from Truffy. He used his Shimmer Strike to dodge the Yummy Frenzy coming out from Nibim Bim, and that was really effective, but he still wasn't quite enough. And Nibim Bim survived on such low health for a really long time. And it's really what J3X need to do. They need to get another fight win here, which they're trying.
Oh, and there's going to be the engagement coming out from Inferno, and they're going to jump onto Angry again, but he's going to be able to go into the backline, picks up Baby, is now looking for another kill as he's chasing down onto Kahlua, manages to get the double, is looking for the triple, but going to have to back out there, taking too much damage from the turret. There's going to be the heals coming through from Lyra, and they're going to be able to push this minion wave into the turret. Koshka not really able to do too much to defend that one, and they might even look for gold mine here, but looks like they're not too confident, just going to steal away some of the enemy's farm.
Yeah, just going to rotate down through the jungle. They don't really want to go too aggressive because they could get themselves caught out. If they try and get gold mine, Koshka steals it, gets an ace, and then you're in a terrible position because Nabulae know the later game they go, the better off they are. We really saw the power of Idris, as I like to say, in that last team fight, because they just focused Angry Die immediately. He got it deleted, but then they left Idris alone with his tension bow proc, just deleting Baby afterwards. So they waited for Rhyme to die, and then he went in by himself pretty much, with Trophies providing a little bit of heal. I think Angry Die needs more defense. He's going for Eve, Broken Myth, Rush, pretty much, with only the tier 2 defense on Vox, but nothing on Koshka. I think that's a bit of a mistake. He should probably prioritise a bit more defense, because if Rhyme stays alive, then he will be dealing enough damage to win the fight. Idris is the one that needs to just burst down Vox, and J3X and Inferno are the ones that need to push the issue. They need to fight, because if not, then they have a Koshka who's going to fall off, and they're going to go for the out-rotate. So they're going to try and push this tier 2 turret without having to fight.
Yeah, it looks like there's the case. Truffless is going to be up there in the lane right now. Angry Die waiting in the brush, but needs to be careful to not just be the first one to go into those fights. I think it is more important that they jump in as a team and try to push the engagement elsewhere and take the focus off of Angry Die, but there's going to be the amazing use of the Bright Ball work to stop Nibibim from jumping in with the Catnip Frenzy, and there's a portal actually putting a few of Inferno into confusion, and Truffy's going to be able to pick up the kill onto Koshka, gets Baby very low, enough for Irongu to pick up the kill. Irongu died to pick up the kill, and they're going to chase down Kahlua, but Kahlua too tanky to fall here. But for now, that is definitely an improvement, and what I think Nabulae want to see more of when going into engagements. That even if you put Trophies on that front line, at least there's an Angry Die there who needs to get the damage down first to become tanky.
Yeah, J3X tried a different strategy in that fight. Lance wants the Impale to gold mine, does not get it, Lara gets it. And they went for the let's focus Trophies and leave Angry Die this fight, and it worked. They killed Trophies. But then they had the problem of a Rhyme full health just able to destroy them all. And I think the right way to do this fight is focus on Idris, kill Idris, and then just run away from Rhyme and hope he runs out of energy. Because then they have a chance.
I think if they can lock down Rhyme in the first place like they have been doing, then I think that's fine, because Rhyme doesn't get the fortified health if he can't get the abilities off in the first place. However, as you mentioned earlier, they're going to start to fall off on the side of Inferno because of this Koshka that's on the team. And if they don't try and push something soon towards the first Kraken, I think that's when it will really start to affect them more. And we might see it in further team fights here, but we'll have to see how it plays out. There's been Impale, but no follow-up just yet. Angry Die trying to land some of these. Uses the Valkyrie, but misses. There's going to be Bright Bulwark to get the team to safety, but Root is going to land onto Trophies, and they're just going to dive in onto a turret. There's going to be the Fountain used, and they should be able to get the second turret. They do manage to do so. Right now, it's looking kind of bad for Nabulae if Inferno are able to hold their ground like this, because Kraken is now coming up on the fold, and if they have control of this jungle after clearing out that sentry, it might be good for them. There's going to be the Impale to turn around, however, onto Nabulae, trying to use the Giphian wall, and Inferno are going low. Nibimim going to be the first one to fall. Trophies on that backline, actually able to pick up the double kill for their ace, and they're going to be the ones to take this Kraken. And there you had it. Your prediction was definitely right about the side of Inferno falling off towards this point.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit greedy from Inferno, because they went for the sentry rotation to try and take it down, and they did manage to do so. But in doing that, they took a lot of damage. Then Nebula went, right, it's our time to fight. We're just going to go in. We're going to try and fight you under sentry. So it's basically a 4v3. And most teams with Koshka is they have one Kraken, and if they win off that Kraken push, obviously they win the game. If they don't win off that Kraken push, then they're very likely to lose unless they do a backdoor or steal Kraken away. And Koshka's given away the one Kraken to Nabulae. They don't even need to get that much off this Kraken. They just need to get one turret and then wait a little bit longer so Koshka falls off even further. And then they'll just get better and better because it's so hard to kill Angry Die. He's actually going for a Crucible, which is very interesting. I did not expect that. Maybe it'll go into Warthreads actually, which would make a lot more sense. And they're going to go through and push this Kraken.
Yep, and as you said, they don't need too much, just it might be enough to continue to swing the tides in their favor. Looks like they're able to land the range damage for now, and it should be able to push for Kraken through. However, a Nabulae going to be looking for more on this Kraken push is the question. You see Truffy's diving in fairly deep there, but there's no retaliation coming up from the side of Inferno. Now Nabulae going to back off, leave the Kraken to fall. It won't be able to take a second turret, but they're going to go get some a Crystal Sentry in return, because I think definitely when you can eliminate that from the situation, it just provides, one, you don't have that vision in your own jungle, and the enemy team just has so much more freedom and rotation, and where they can push for team fights also changes once that Crystal Sentry is out of the way.
Yeah, that is the first charge taken down, so it's unlikely that it's always a good idea, just take it, get a bit of gold, and now for right now they can fight with no sentry. Iron Greed Eye did pick up a husk, which I was not expecting, but I guess it works against this Koshka, try and stop that aftershock burst, and they're going to go in on the fight.
Yeah, and you see the husk going into play there as Iron Greed Eye being the one to get jumped on first, but it's going to be Truffy's jumping into the backline. Truffless, however, going to be the one forward. They now move on to Vox, but it's going to be Lance to pick up the kill. However, Iron Greed Eye isn't done yet. Might be up to land the chills, wins, actually misses it, and that could have been so crucial there to get the ace and probably push through for maybe a possible win. But right now it's going to be Kahlua able to back out that fight, and Angry Die just going to have to go up to this lane and continue to push it up. And yeah, I think that right there you could see that if Iron Greed Die had landed the chill wins, they might have been able to land enough damage followed up to kill Kahlua and get the ace.
Yeah, definitely. Could have been at least one turret for Iron Greed Die if he decided to... I don't know if he decided to land, if he to land wins. It was extremely close, I think, just out of range. And the Slumbering Husk worked pretty well. Obviously, Iron Greed Die survived throughout the entire fight, and so it worked well enough. And Nabimbim, he's got himself tier 2 Void Battery, and he's either going to build that into an Eve of Harvest or an Echo. And I hope he builds it into an Echo. I hope he just ults at the start of the team fight, ults someone, forces out a block, and then Yamakatic Frenzy to force the Crucible, or they just miss it and then you get an easy stun. Vox can build up breaking point stacks. I think that would be much better than just getting an Eve, because Nabimbim isn't really going to do enough damage to sustain through these fights, especially against Rhyme and Lyra. And now both teams looking to poke. There was a Crystal Sentry for J3X Inferno, so Nabulae aren't in the best position. Then again, they are Nabulae, they are not the Koshka, so they can just back off and not fight yet.
Yes, and it looks like that's just what they're going to do, going up to this lane, continuing to have it pushed. And I think that's so important to have lane control when fighting for a Kraken. And right now we see Vox has kind of pushed it even, and right now both teams just go between this kind of rotation of going through the jungle and then back up to lane. However, there's a very nice, two of them actually, Giffian Wolves into there to stun the whole team up and followed through by the root. But you can see Angry You Die not afraid to dive in and continue the fight. It's going to be the trade kill Vox for Idris, and Angry Die very tanky at this point. But however, I don't think he has the speed to get onto the targets he wants. He's got those journey boots, but it looks like he's going to be able to pop them there. They might find Kahlua, however Koshka was able to survive the fight. But the question is, even if Koshka survives this, are they really able to hold the fort on their own?
Lance survive? No, he won't.
There's Truffy's going in with the Arcane Passage just to make sure that Angry Die actually walking through accidentally. And yeah, we can see the tide. You know, when we look at this game in terms of kills and gold, it's still very even. We got 43.5k on the side of Inferno, 42.7, but 12 to 15 kills. I don't think that's really the matter here, as Nabulae just had the late game because of the team buff they've got compared to the side of Inferno with that Koshka, and they're now pushing for this Kraken. And if Koshka jumps in, you know, it's going to be a very dangerous situation. They don't have that tank. They don't have that second solid engage. So it looks like they're just going to try fight for a Kraken. And Box, however, managing to pick up the Lyra. Maybe not the target you want because the damage dealers are still there. They should be able to pick up this Kraken anyway. Irongru trying to keep Koshka off of it. Lands some very good chill wins to keep them away. And it looks like Irongru and Truffy's surely going to pick up the kill on Night Bim Bim. Fountain was used, but not enough. Kahlua now needs to be on the run themselves, using that Echo to try get away. But Truffy's on the chase. It looks like they're just pushing Kahlua back to base. And for now, we've got 20 seconds on Baby. They should be up in time to defend this one against Kraken. But
yeah, it's gonna be
how
close.
Do you think it's going to play out?
It doesn't look good for J3X Inferno, but you never know. Irongru has to wait for the Kraken until they can really take these turrets. Their own turret might even fall to Winions. No, Lyra's up. Lyra's going to stop that turret from falling. And now Kahlua's not going to try and 1v2. He might try and 2v2. Baby wants to get as much damage on Kraken and as many breaking point stacks as possible. He's got a really good build for taking this Kraken down. If he gets a couple of breaking point stacks, he'll just destroy it. And it looks like the Irongru and Nabulae and Truffy don't know what to do. They're going to wait. They're going to back off. And they're deciding to just go to late game. But Lyra left the turret alone. That is a tier 3 turret. For Koshka, there's no two ways about it. That turret's gone. But will Kraken get the Vein Crystal? No. Wow. Look, Lyra walked straight past those minions and went, nah, I don't need to worry about it. I'll help my team push. That was just poor team coordination from Nabulae. They didn't tell Lyra, no, we're not going to push this. Don't bother. Just take to stop the turret falling. Lyra didn't say, I'm going to try and help push with you. And so this could be really bad if Koshka manages to win a late game team fight. That will be game. There's no question now. We're 23 minutes in. Death times are long enough that a clean ace for either team will mean the game. So that's really not a good thing for Nabulae that they lost their turret, but they're looking for a fight now.
Yeah, definitely. That could have meant the difference, but we're going to have to see here as it's going to be Truffy's diving in on the engage. Wait for it is used as we see Irongru going to be up there in the front line, gets impaled down, but meanwhile, Night Bim Bim actually doing a fair bit of damage, and your I guess your predictions could be right here as we see beside of Nabulae actually having to back up from this fight. I think Truffy wants to look for the kill onto Koshka if it's possible. Doesn't have the Shimmer Strike, however, but Koshka going to go through that portal. A bad decision as Truffy's is waiting on the other end, able to pick up a kill. However, it's a 2v1 situation here. Truffy's just needs to stay alive long enough to not hand over the ace. However, that's interesting there. Inferno respecting the damage that comes out from Truffy's and decides to back off from that one instead of pushing lane or maybe trying to force a 2v1 fight. So
yeah, J3X and Inferno know that it's the same for both teams. Whoever gets the next ace wins the game. So even though Truffy's is alone, Baby and Kahlua are like, this is risky. They're going to go for it now, though.
Coming in from behind, misses the Impale. A very good Shroud Step to get out there, and there's going to be the engagement, but going on to Box, they managed to get the Shimmer Strike, but the damage coming out from Box right now, they hand over the ace. However, it's going to be Irongru up in enough time. Soon, 10 seconds going to be followed by Truffless. They should be able to hold this base, I believe. If anything, Inferno should be trying to push for a Kraken right now.
Yeah, it's most likely that they want to get Kraken. It's risky to go 2 versus 2 up against both Vein Crystal turrets for Nabulae. So Kahlua and Baby, so we're going to start up this Kraken, but you're up against the Lyra, who is probably the best hero to steal Kraken in the game. And Backdoor is a shout, but Rhyme doesn't want to do it. No, they're going to leave the Kraken and just try and defend it. But what about Luxuria? Not Luxuria, I request a duel. When Kraken has been taken, will Truffy's go for the backdoor, or will he just be boring?
You mean while they're pushing this Kraken?
While they're pushing Kraken.
That's what I was considering. Well, all of Infamous's focus is on pushing this Kraken and trying to end it out. They could try to do that. Because what they're going to have to do here for the side of Nabulae, and it's, as you said, if they had this third turret up, it could have been just the difference they needed, but they need to force this fight at their base entrance. They cannot let the fight go until Kraken gets into their base, because Baby has enough damage. Koshka it still has a good presence in the fight to be up in the front line, and it kind of takes off that pressure of them focusing down Baby. So for the side of Nabulae, they really need to force a fight right now. They can't let this push in any longer. Truffy's going to go in with Arcane Pass and chooses the bright bulwark afterwards, and you see Truffy's diving in onto the backline trying to find Baby. There's going to be the Catnip Frenzy going onto Truffy's, and they manage to secure the kill, and there's going to be the Impale, and right now it's looking so good for Inferno. Oh, Baby needs to be careful not to take too much damage from that turret, however is able to back around it, and right now it looks like Inferno are going to be able to shut it out. Vox will fall, however, but Kraken's still half health. They've got the damage. I'm sure that Kahlua is the last one standing. There's no way that Nabulae will be able to win this one back. No one is able to focus Kraken. Kahlua just being a distraction at this point. And that's GG.
That is
wow,
game. J3X Inferno win game 1 with a 26-minute Koshka Kraken push. I think the real problem there was, as you said, they didn't fight around the tier 3 turret which had been destroyed. That would have literally changed this game. I think Nabulae would have easily won, just personal opinion. But they also then let the Kraken push in, and they won the team fight pretty easily. Trophies fell, and Iron Gudai didn't do enough damage to take Kraken down in time. So they need